Hi, this is Dave Bennett from MOWG-Crew.com, and over the last 3 years we've developed some really amazing software, and we call it the MOWG system. It's two pieces of software together. MOWG is short for Mass Optimized Web Page Generation, and so the MOWG system automates the generation of web pages for any website in a very white hat fashion. You could use the MOWG system to create black hat websites, but we absolutely teach not to, because if you do things right, then the effects last a very long time. And I'm going to walk you through a number of examples. But the point is simple. We get websites on the front page of Google for keywords you want, and we do it in a very white hat fashion. That's the very basis of what we do with our software. And so, what is the MOWG system? It's two pieces of software in effect. One is something you would download, and it allows you to take some target web page, some web page out there. It could be anything, a ClickBank affiliate link, anything it is that you want to make into a massive website. And it also takes a vars file path, which is really just a CSV file in Excel, with all the data that you would have that corresponds to the variables that go with that page in order to create thousands of pages very, very quickly. Ultimately, it's quite simple. You can see it has some specifics like uploading the FTP server. In other words, you can generate web pages and have them uploaded to your website, all the menus connected properly, the sitemaps generated for your website, and also for you to submit directly to Google. And we do that. We submit our websites to Google intentionally. We can also ping them to get a jump start on the indexing. So that's one piece of the MOWG system. That's this right here. The other piece of the MOWG system is an Excel add-on that works with Excel 2007 or 2010, and it's called the MOWG Toolbar. And the MOWG Toolbar, we're on version 17 now. We've been developing it for 3 years, and we've cultivated each of the functions carefully, improving on them as we go, throwing out functions that were old-fashioned and incorporating new ones. And so what we have is a finished toolbar that's extremely powerful and easy to use, and allows you to just start by importing a web page and going through a handful of steps to creating the CSV file and the HTML file you need. And that way you can use this piece of software to pick up from there. It'll take the HTML page you created, that one, and it'll take the CSV file you created, that one, and it will create thousands of variable web pages for your website. And it does this easily. And so what I'm going to do is walk you through examples of how this is used and how it works. Let's take a look at even what it means, and then from there why we do it. So let me start here. Okay, so if you notice, we're on Google and we're using something called a cite command. And the cite command means if you put in SITE colon and then you type in the name of a website, such as this one, virtualhomebusinesses.com, then Google will tell you every page of virtualhomebusinesses.com that has been acceptable to Google and got indexed at one time or another and is still indexed today. Okay, so this is what is live on Google right now for this website. And this website is about half a year old, and these web pages have been around for about that long. So this is nothing but page after page after page after page. All these pages down here actually of just that website, pages on that website. And so you'll see that all of these are pages coming off of exactly that website, and we have 4,740 pages on that website. Now, for people who are wondering, doesn't that mean the menu would have to be crazy on the front page? The answer is no, and that's the point. If I go to the front page of this website, like pretty much any other page, it just sits there and does what it's supposed to do. It's got a video that starts playing. If that's the idea, it has a form you can fill in to sign up and get more information. And it just has some information on it. Not a heck of a lot, just some. And there it is. Now there's 7,418 visitors to this page by now. And this has been around for a while. As a matter of fact, this website got updated to this Empower Network concept. being the latest thing. They were selling something else before and they switched it to this, oh, like 2 months ago, something like that. And so all of this that you're seeing here came incorporated when he put this coding in, and he didn't have it in there before. It's in there now. So this is 7,400 some odd visitors in the past 2 months. Okay, so that gives you an idea that this website is working. It's getting visitors to it, and one of the biggest reasons is because it has so many web pages. But you don't see all those links on this page. No, there's just some links to some sitemaps and so forth on the page that point at different sections, and if you were to dig deep, then you'd be able to find all those links. They are connected. They're not orphan links, but they're not standing there in your face. You can actually just read this page like normal, watch the video like normal, decide to sign up if you wish, and so on. Very, very simple. Okay, so just because it has 4,740 pages on it doesn't mean that it looks ridiculous to people who come. And that's the same with any of these other variations on the pages. If I go to any one of them, then again, I'm going to see the video, I'm going to see the email sign up form, the basic pitch, and it's going to be pretty much the same thing. And there's a link to the page that came before and a link to the page that came after. There's a simple linking mechanism that does connect all the pages, so the Google bots, when they come through this site, and this is the same for Bing, it's the same for Yahoo, what they see is that the site is properly connected up. These links are real, they're connected to the front page, and there you have it. It's a very big deal. And so that's this site. Okay, 4,740 pages. They've been sitting around for a long time. Let me go to another one. This site's called worldforexclub.com, and on it is 7,470 pages, so it's even bigger. So for those of you who think, wow, 4,000, 5,000 pages has got to be the max, right? The answer is no. This guy shows up for all kinds of keyword combinations that just relate to his business all over the place. They go really wide on keyword combinations, different things that come up here, okay, into the titles, and it just goes on and on and on. All right. Now, an interesting thing about this particular website here is that they created backlinks. Matter of fact, I can probably point one out. And let me go ahead and pause this audio, kind of loud. Somewhere in here, I've got a link to vitamin B17, okay? And it points to the website, which you can see over here if you look, okay, when I hover over it. And it says buyapricotseeds.com, okay? So buyapricotseeds.com is being backlinked on this page right here with this link called vitamin B17. He's got other things here, but they point at the same website. They're different sections of the same website. But this is called a backlink because it uses a keyword. It's like a vote for a keyword that the guy would like to show up for that other website there, the buyapricotseeds.com. So the reason he put this link here is so that Google knows that he wants buyapricotseeds.com to show up on Google for keywords like vitamin B17. Okay? Now, when you think about having a backlink like that on 7,400 or more pages, then we have two things that are being done on this website. One is every single one of these pages is selling his opportunity. It's suggesting to you, the audio plays on every single page. The email form is on every single page. This is 7,400 different chances he has showing up for entirely different keywords for people to come, get interested, and sign up. Okay, and at the same time, they're all backlinking this other website for this other term. All right, and so that's interesting because every single page does two jobs. It tries to show up for the keywords that are important to the page, different combinations that people might type into Google, one or another for this word, one or another for that, and each of these pages all together added up tends to get them traffic across all of these different kinds of keyword combinations that you have coming off this entire listing here. And the other thing it's doing, of course, every one of those pages is boosting up the other website for the other keyword terms. So every page is pulling double duty to get two different websites to the top of Google for different keyword results. And that's neat. That's what we do very, very well. Let me continue. Here's a website called RosevilleObgyn.net, and it has 11,200 pages. So for those who thought the cap's got to be at 10,000 pages, the answer is no. Now, what was interesting about this one is that this is Roseville, California, and an OB-GYN there wanted to show up on the front page for the search Roseville OB-GYN. But she also does business in related cities. In other words, anyone in the surrounding cities to Roseville, cities near Roseville. She also does the OB-GYN services for them. They would just drive in because they're not that far away. So she wanted to show up on the front page for some of these other terms like Rockland OB-GYN, Perrin OB-GYN, Newcastle OB-GYN, Loomis OB-GYN. So the purpose of this particular run is to canvas a geo-targeted area so she can show up for everyone in the surrounding area for the most important keyword she would need. That city and OB-GYN. Because someone living in that city won't think to type Roseville OB-GYN. Why would they? They would type OB-GYN for their own city. And that's the idea. So we wanted to get her up on all these different cities surrounding her for that OB-GYN term. And that's what we did. Okay, let me continue. We got one here called smallbusinessidea.com. 17,600 web pages on it. And this particular website is doing a number of things. It's boosting up another website with backlinks, and it's going after a few sets of terms. One is Empower Network, another is Entrepreneurs Wanted, another Small Business Idea. Okay, so this is kind of spreading out what it's really after, and it's very large as well. Okay, so there's the idea of using a website to have 3 focal keyword points and then all the different terms that can relate to those 3 different focal keyword points. And that's what they did. So they canvassed the longer tail keyword combinations for each of these 3 major sections that was important to them. Empower Network, Small Business Idea, and Entrepreneurs Wanted. That was their biggest thing. And I'll show you about that. As a matter of fact, if you go to Entrepreneurs Wanted, this website will show up, number 1. Okay? And I'll keep going here because I got points to make about more sites. This is a backlinking website. Notice it has 39,700 pages on it. By itself, it's not really trying to sell anything at all. The focal point here is stuff like online essay writing. Okay? And the main page is essay writing jobs in California. But this fellow does not expect or care if anyone ever visits this website at all. The purpose of generating all these pages wrapped around some basic theme like that that looks like article writing is that all these pages look like articles to Google anyway. He just chose that as the basic focus. He even has it with a subdomain, writingjobs.theinfoabout.com. Okay, and the purpose of this is to get 39,700 backlinks for other websites, 1 or more other websites he's backlinking to. So the whole reason this website exists is not to sell anything at all by itself, but to bolster up ranking on other websites. In effect, this website is a slave. Some people call these zombie websites. And the most common term for them, of course, is just simply a backlinking website. A website that isn't meant to sell anything at all, but meant to bolster up the ranking for other websites on other keywords. Okay? So now, what is the purpose of having very large page counts? It's so that Google can take your website seriously. Virtualhomebusinesses.com. It says virtual home business. Okay, on a lot of the pages, and things like what is the Empower Network on a lot of the pages. Well, let's continue then. We went through these sites, so let's continue. Let's take a look at results. If you do a search for virtual home business on Google, we're not looking for a website anymore. We're just doing a search for virtual home business. This fellow does come up number 1. Why? Because he has more web pages about virtual home business on one website than any other virtual home business site has. He has more density on his website that all relates to virtual home business one way or another than everyone else. And that's interesting because that's 482 million results showing up for a keyword you would think is very important because it's just a typically searched keyword. 482 million competing web pages, and he is the most optimized. And he's the most optimized because he has 4,740 pages on his own site. And also, this is sort of a secret, this other website over here, smallbusinessidea.com, all of these 17,600 pages include backlinks to bolster up virtualhomebusinesses.com for virtual home business. Absolutely huge. So this is the slave website, you could say, but it's not. It is selling. It is double duty web pages. 17,600 pages all pulling double duty. The first job is to try to sell you something directly. When you come to the web page, it tries to sell you something or teach you something, but also it includes the backlinks for another business that's also trying to sell you something. Okay, two different websites being bolstered up from the same run. And this one again for 482 million results is absolutely huge. Let's continue. Our World Forex Club, right? That was this guy here. 7,470 results, and he shows up number one out of 5,040,000 terms that are quite complex. I mean, these are often targeted. Terms like these are very targeted, and he's showing up right there, number one for that. Now, again, we said he was bolstering up his other website as well. So if we do a search for buy vitamin B17, that's a pretty hefty term. You know, you've got different guys trying to sell this stuff, and these are ads up here. The top three guys are ads. So this is the first real result. And then you have shopping results from Google. That's different. You know, we deal with organic results so that when you get clicked on, it's free. No one has to pay to click on you, or you don't have to pay for people clicking on you because you show up on the front page. That's the idea, that you don't have to pay to get clicked on. You just show up. Okay, so he gets his fair share, whatever it is, of the clicks from the people that come, that spot him, and they're interested and they click on him. The higher he goes, the greater chance he'll get clicked on more often. This is true. But how does he do it? He creates more pages and he'll drive himself further up the chain. Now, he hasn't done that. He did one run. I happen to know who he is. He did one run, never added to it. That one run got this website this far up, and that's it. But he wasn't here before. He was on page 23 or something. That website, buyapricotseeds.com, used to be on page 23 or so for buy vitamin B17. It used to be way buried down here somewhere. It isn't anymore, and the reason it isn't is not because a MOWG run was done on this website. This website still has, however, or his website here has however many pages it has on it. It's not a lot. I'm sorry, that's not it. There it is. It doesn't have a lot of web pages on it, and it's not very optimized for the term either. Okay, he could also optimize the page to get it to rank a little higher as well. He could have something more like buy vitamin B17 up in here instead of just home dash vitamins plus. Okay, and that would help him rank a little higher yet. But the biggest reason he's even on this front page instead of on page 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, or all the way down is exactly because on the worldforexclub.com site, he has a bunch of links. There's some 7,470 backlinks, and they're sharing across 3 or 4 different terms that point at that site. Okay, one of those terms is this kind of thing. All right, so that's the point there. Now, Roseville Obgyn, I just wanted to make that point too. We discussed it, so this is quick. Remember, she wanted to show up for different cities, okay, on the front page. So let's see how well that worked. If you do a search for Roseville Obgyn, she is the #1 spot. Okay, if you do a search for Antelope Obgyn, it's one of the side cities. She's here, 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 here. That's 4 of the top results right here on the front page. wow, that really increases your chances of getting clicked onto because she takes up so much of the real estate that you first see when you arrive on the page. People pick from what they choose, and she's 4 of the choices out of 7, so that's more than half of what you physically see when you first land on the page without scrolling down. Okay? So that's interesting. What about another city? Loomis. That's her, that's her, that's her, that's her. The top 4. Okay? So that's interesting. And they all have different counts. You know, Roseville Obgyn competes with 90,800 pages. Antelope Obgyn competes with 2,080,000 pages. Loomis Obgyn, she's the top 4, competes with 1.4 million pages. Carmichael's another city, 1.83 million pages, and she's here somewhere, right there. Okay, she doesn't have them all. There's more competition apparently, or maybe more OB-GYNs in Carmichael, California. Okay, or there might be more Carmichael cities across the nation, and so she's competing with people in more cities all the way around. Okay, things like that. Citrus Heights, she's up here as well. 1, 2, 3 of the results here. Okay, that's her. Granite Bay, and she's here and here. Let's see. There's 4. Yeah, she's got 4 of them here. 3 or 4 of them. 3 of them. Okay, so there's 3 there. What else? Newcastle. She's up here as well. RosevilleObgyn.net, RosevilleObgyn.net. There's 3 of them. Okay, so this is how you get a job to really benefit you, and especially if you're working in a geo-targeted area, this is the kind of strategy you would like to employ because this is huge. It just helps you really get clicked on a lot. Okay, so she shows up for all of this stuff here. Here's another city. She's got the top 4. And that's that. You get the point. That's a lot of surrounding cities. She never used to show up for any of them at all. She wasn't even on the front page for Roseville Obgyn. She used to be on like page 4 or so. Now she's front and center on all of these different cities. That's what's extremely important about the software we have. It's our software. It's basically the MOWG-Pro and the predecessors that led to it, as well as this MOWG toolbar that made all of these websites rank the way they're ranking now. And most of these are at least half a year old. Okay, some of these are a year old. Some of these examples I'm showing you. Here's another one for Small Business Idea. We were talking about the small-businessidea.com site. That's down here, kind of low on the page, I know, but there's 2 things about that. One is they're competing with 117 million results, okay? This isn't 7 million. This isn't even 17 million. It's another 100 million more results, okay? So this is very competitive, all right? And they still made the front page. The second point I want to make about that is they did it with no backlinks. I don't think there are any backlinks to this website at all, unless they turn around and created some recently, but they used to be on the front page anyway without them. Okay? And so when we look at how in the world they got that far, the answer is exactly because they have 17,600 pages on their website and next to no backlinks unless they created some recently. All right, now let's continue. That's a Small Business Idea site. Let's see what else. We said that they were going after terms like Empower Network. I just want to show you combinations. Empower Network by itself is a very competitive keyword because there are lots of affiliates for that program. It's a program that's led by an internet marketer. And so they have very many savvy website marketers hitting that thing. So it's competitive from the point of view that this isn't like an OB-GYN somewhere in some geography. I mean, those of you who do roofing, landscaping, OB-GYN, dental work, chiropractic, anything like that, your competitors are probably not website savvy, and they are probably not internet marketing savvy. They know very little about it. When you get into online businesses, clickbank links, things like that, and you can become an affiliate for something like this, chances are you're dealing with guys who make their living online. These guys tend to be a lot savvier. They do all they can to get all over the place online and do all the stuff that they can do. So if you can compete with them, you're competing very, very well. Anyway, there's 11.8 million results, and smallbusinessidea.com is number 2. Okay, right underneath empowernetwork.com, which is the main site, okay, the main project. And why does this work with Empower Network Business? Right now, they're going to have to work harder to get Empower Network because, again, those guys are competitive. But it works because they have the word business as well as Empower Network in their title tag. There's more to it, but this is one of the biggest, most important factors. As a matter of fact, when you look at the keyword combinations that you could pull off, then you can think of other combinations as well. I did Empower Network Business. That's 3 of those words. Let's try another one. What about Small Empower Network Business? Now they're number 1 because that's 4 out of 5 of the words in their title. What about, and that's again out of 66,300,000 results, are number 1. Okay. What about Empower Network Business Idea? Again, 27 million results, and here they are, number 1. Okay, so no matter what you want to say about how different people are showing up for different keyword combinations and whether there's traffic or not to any given keyword, what they can show up for when you put them face to face with other guys who are also trying to show up, who are fighting to show up for these things, they come out number 1 because they have a large website. Okay, let's take a look at another one. Remember our theinfo.com site with virtually 40,000 web pages on it? Okay, they happen to have this as being the main focus of their front page. And again, this is a slave website. It's just a backlinking website. Has no real purpose by itself. This is not trying to sell you anything. It's too boring to try to sell you anything. Okay, there's nothing here that you would want to click on this website for. It's not intending to get clicked on, but Google counted it. It counted virtually 40,000 pages of the site because they do have a right to be up. They don't have to sell anything. Google doesn't require that your website sell anything at all. They can be article-based pages, and that's what's going on here. Since that's the focus in their front page, they show up. So out of 66,400,000 results, there they are on page 1 for effectively a very general keyword, essay writing jobs, California. You know, anybody living in California that does essay writing and is looking for a job, this is the kind of thing that they can type, and that's what they just happen to be showing up for. Very competitive, and they just there with no backlinks to this site, with this site just being a slave website in the first place, not even trying to sell anything at all. It's just there on sheer SEO strength. Okay, exploring a little bit more, this is my main website, websitemarketingsolutions.com. That's my main website. I have 2. I have that, and I have the MOWG-Pro.com website, which is because part of Website Marketing Solutions got to be so large, we had to create a whole different website just for that. And so anyway, there's only 279 web pages. Okay, and what I mean to say is by itself, that's not much. Okay, it's not very competitive. Of course, I show up for Website Marketing Solutions anyway, but I want to show you something more interesting than that. Okay, and that's this. I am based out of Seattle, and so at one point I decided I was going to compete with very savvy internet marketers right here in Seattle. Okay, which is interesting because these guys here, website marketers in Seattle, tend to work with local clients, high dollar, very few client, drive to see them at their workplace, spend months on each project that they do for every one client. Okay, and they have huge portfolios, very large websites, and everything else. And these guys, they have page after page after page on their website is all about things like website marketing Seattle. Okay, me, I'm on this front page. Not only that, but MOWG-Pro.com is on this front page. And both of these websites are very small. And so And neither of them is really optimized for the terms. There's just one, two, three pages, I think, on this website that even say Seattle on them. Okay, that's it. And then this, just one, I think. That's about it. So there's very little optimization. And you would think, why am I even here?